We begin with breaking news right now. Sun Media has obtained exclusive new details linking yet another man to alleged terrorist Christoph Rubius and Ali Medledge from London, Ontario. It's believed to be this man, Benjamin Caleb Thomas, who police confirm is on London's most wanted list. At present, there does not seem to be a connection between Thomas and January's terrorist attack at the Algeria gas plant, but we do know he was associated with the suspected terrorists. London Free Press reporter Randy Richmond is following these developments, and he joins us. We're going to be joining to him shortly. In the meantime, we are going to focus on another story at hand. Presently, we are going to be talking with one of our reporters, Jessica Murphy. She is sitting by now live in on Ottawa, Ontario. And Jessica, what are we hearing about this latest connection? Can you give us some of the details of what we are hearing right now?
What we know right now is that there is this fourth Canadian, as you said, Benjamin Caleb Thomas. He is 24, that has been linked to two people, two of the people who are alleged to have been involved in the Algeria attack. Those two other Canadians, we're talking Christos Katsirubis and Ali Medledge as well. Now, word has it that he was not in Algeria, but he is on the London's police most wanted list. That's what we know for now. I'm sure our reporter from London, Ontario, will soon be able to bring us more information on that. We also know we have been reaching out to the federal government for reaction, confirmation to any of this information that has been coming out over the last 2 days, whether, regarding any of these four young men, Canadian men, who are alleged to have been involved in some way or another, whether in this Algeria gas plant attack or to have been associates, for example, here in Canada. Concerns raised around that. Now, the government right now is really in a media blackout. They're not giving much information. We talked to the Prime Minister's office, we talked to Foreign Affairs, Consular Affairs, Public Safety as well. All of them referred all questions to the RCMP, said they are not willing to comment on national security issues. They also, when you do call the RCMP says they have no comment, they have no more information for the media on this. So there's very little coming from the federal government in terms of any sorts of confirmation, even a comment on this issue. It's really somewhat unprecedented. We do know, for example, back in February, Immigration Minister Jason Kenney came out. Canadians have been linked in the past to terrorist attacks overseas. He came out in February, as I noted, talking about a Canadian who'd been involved in an attack in Bulgaria, a bus bombing. He said that person was a Canadian Lebanese citizen, etc. So gave more information and was more forthcoming in the past. Now, when I speak with people here who know the intelligence community, intelligence experts, for example, all of them say, look, there is an ongoing investigation. Certainly, we do know Canadian investigators have been in Algeria since January, in fact, looking into this, looking into any involvement, trying to ascertain identities through DNA testing and everything like that at the site of this gas plant attack that killed some 70 people in the terrorist attack. So they do say there are, of course, national security issues. There is an ongoing investigation, but nonetheless, we're seeing a lot of this information now coming out in the media, a lot of journalists digging into this, and yet we're hearing very little, in fact, from the federal government, Alex.
Well, no doubt, Jessica, we have been waiting to hear some sort of confirmation coming from the government. As you've mentioned, they've been very mum on many occasions, and of course, at present, we know that this new individual that we are hearing about, specifically Benjamin Caleb Thomas, it has yet to be confirmed at the present. It does not seem there is really any connection to the Algerian attacks, but of course, we are following this story in depth, and we'll have much more coverage as the hour continues. I'd like to thank you, Jessica, for joining us from Ottawa to give us some more information on this story.
My pleasure, Alex.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much, Jessica. As Jessica Murphy reporting live from our Parliamentary Bureau. And I'm now joined by London Free Press reporter Randy Richmond with exclusive details of another man linked to the two alleged terrorists killed in Algeria. And Randy, I want to thank you for joining us over Skype today. Some new details coming out, and I want to start start with Benjamin Caleb Thomas. Can you explain this connection?
Well, Benjamin Caleb Thomas was out in Edmonton in 2007. He was arrested for shoplifting in March 2007 in Edmonton, and his co-accused was Ali Medledge. Ali Medledge, of course, is one of the London men who was identified as dying in a gas explosion, one of the terrorist group involved in a gas plant explosion in Algeria. Benjamin Caleb Thomas was also charged with robbery out there and some breach of conditions. He finally got out of jail in Edmonton custody in 2009, February 2009. At some point, Benjamin Caleb Thomas is back in London, and he's charged with doing the same sort of thing, charged with shoplifting in London in 2012, twice in March and in June, and breach of conditions. He's on the London Police Most Wanted list because of those shoplifting charges and because he breached those conditions. The last time anyone saw him officially here was on a surveillance tape in June, where he's seen involved in a shoplifting incident. Based on that, we can say at least in June of last year, 2012, he was in London. And again, we don't know how much his connection, how deep his connections go with the other, the three men who are now identified as part of this group. But for sure, he was out in Edmonton with Ali Medledge in 2007.
And what we know is right now is that in April, we know that he did fail to show up for fingerprinting. And since then, he has been wanted by police for failing to attend in court. But we want to clarify, it's very important to note that at present, he does not seem to be in connection with those who are responsible for the Algerian attack that killed over 70 people. I want to get some more information from you. Have you heard from family members of this individual? Has there been any sort of commotion coming out of the community since we found out more about Benjamin Caleb Thomas?
Well, not yet. Actually, we just found out about it this morning. Just nailed down the facts this morning through the Alberta Justice Department and our own police force. And so we're expecting now to get some reaction from the family. Obviously, he's a person of great interest to everybody, media and police, perhaps CSIS and the RCMP as well. And we'll certainly be trying to get a hold of family members now. It does not appear from yearbooks that he went to South Secondary School with some of the other people involved in this. So again, as you pointed out, quite correct to point out, we're not sure of the depth of his involvement with the people who were at the gas plant explosion.
Randy, I want to thank you for joining us as quickly as you could in regard to this breaking news that we are hearing about just now, as you mentioned. It's very important as we get these new details, we will bring them to you live here on Newswire. Randy, thanks again for joining us.
You're welcome.
That was London Free Press reporter Randy Richmond joining us live from London over Skype. And of course, we want to get your opinion on this as well in our daily web poll. Today's question, should the government be more forthcoming about the Canadian link to the Algerian terror attack? Log on to sunnewsnetwork.ca and cast your vote.